Hello everybody, Nine and Does. How's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's doing good. I'm doing all right. It's a week, hasn't it? Been a week. Just telling you, it's been a week. I want to talk a little bit about what's led up to all this open vitriol, shall we call it. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Love me, like me, share me. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel because more people are liking the video without hitting the other button, just saying. So anyway, hangers on. I have come to read some really gut-punching things since I've been doing this. But I'm going to go over a few of them, and a lot of it has to pertain to what went on this week with the Conservative boy. There's the shirt of the day. Canadian Forces Base LAR. Auf Wiedersehen. That's when it closed. So anyway, the First Amendment has been bent, and it favors MAGA. When a Democrat speaks out about a wrong that has been perpetrated on all the American people, they are called radical, leftist, Marxist. The thief in chief wouldn't know the difference between a leftist, a Marxist, or a communist. I'm just saying. It's just words he heard once and found out in the 1930s how well they worked. So he thought he'd just give it a shot. He learned that when you repeat something long enough and often enough, people start to believe it, because if you're saying it that much, it must be true, right? He even's believing his own bullshit. You know, when he gets caught in lies, or told no, or a newspaper writes a story about what's going on, he comes out like a rabid dog, his favorite word, and calls the press the enemy of the people. He says things like, it's not nice to call people fat. I would never say Chris Christie is a fat pig. That's not nice. We shouldn't say that Chris Christie is a fat pig. When he just called Chris Christie a fat pig. That's how he twists things around. Oh no, I can't say that she's beautiful, as he's luring at her. Can tell even Pam Bondi when he goes, oh, you're so beautiful. She kind of blushes up a bit and kind of, yeah, she knows it's creepy. But she's getting all the stuff, right? He says things that would insult Satan, for lack of a better words. Season 1, the dismantling and hate season, he had seasoned folks around him with tons of experience to do what his parents never did. They never told him no. These folks did. And because of that, and he didn't get his way, all of a sudden, the ones that he praised put in those jobs, all of a sudden, they're losers. They choked like dogs. It's that dog thing. He has this tough guy persona that he puts on because he's surrounded by very well-trained security that makes sure nothing will happen to him. He was a bully, and he was very disrespectful to his mom, well, both his parents and his siblings. So instead of dealing with him themselves, they sent him off to like a military reform school type thing and passed him off to get some discipline. You know, much like a pedo priest. They just pass him off to the next parish. It's their problem now, not caring about the kids in that parish. Yeah, that's what his parents did. Just passed him off onto somebody else. I'm sure from my military experiences that there was a blanket party or 2 or 5 for him and his fucking Egypt attitude. He came out of there being able to throw a ball pretty well. Maybe he should have went into baseball. That would have been better. But he came out even angrier and meaner and more bigoted than his father was, and that's saying something. And that is saying something to the max. Season 1 was not great. But like I said, he had folks around him to tell him, no, that's illegal. It's against the Constitution. You can't do that. So he would pout for a little while and try to find another way. And he would say all this shit to rile up his base, and they're like, yeah, let's do this. Everything he wanted to do then and kept pushing for, like, can't we just shoot him in the legs? Can't we just put alligators and build a moat and put alligators and poisonous snakes in there for the immigrants? Yeah. Everything he wanted to do back then was a practice run for the evil he has allowed to now flourish in the great United States of America and in my country as well, because trust me, Maple MAGA is just as self-serving and militant here as it is in the United States. So far, it's not as widespread as it is in the States, but our military has some of that poison running through it as well. But season 2, the complete destruction of democracy, the rogue season, is moving through the country like stage 4 cancer. And people are standing up to applaud him. He holds weekly brag and gag meetings where his cabinet officials are required, in my opinion, to strap on a new pair of knee pads, do some lip-ups, probably 100 of them, and fawn all over the mango moose knuckle while they throw flowers his way in great giant bouquets. Not literally, figuratively. While they go around the table, it seems like to me, when he's looking down, that he's reading their script that they had previously handed into him, in my opinion, as they drone on ad nauseum to make sure they have enough flattery exposed and praise. And I really think that they do hand in exactly what they can say so he can follow it and look up at them when they miss a word. Just saying. They hand it in ahead of time, in my opinion, so he can preview it and decide which order around the table, who is going to speak first. Who kisses his ass the most? My top 3 spewers are Howie Lugnut, Pam Bondi, and Krusty the Goat Assassin. I've never seen so much syrup. It just pours at him like molten lava down the leg of his pull-up. It really does. Now that his acquaintance has been rendered silent, hope and prayers for his baby, I've already said that, he went on a tear. He will give this conservative boy the Medal of Freedom posthumously. But that's what he said in the moment. Who knows if he gets it. All flags have been ordered to fly at half-staff until Sunday at 6 p.m. I don't know what's going to happen then. And at one point, the Mango Moose Knuckle was going to have him laid in state. But I think even some of them maggots are going, who knows, can't go that far. Sweet suffering Jesus. Instead, he will be eulogized in his home state of Arizona. And of course, the Mango Moose Knuckle, Melania, maybe, Pam Bondi, Shady Pants, all the usual suspects will be there front and center for their camera ops. No doubt in my military mind. It's going to be a tense time, so my friends in Arizona, please stay safe. Stay vigilant, because there's going to be a lot of people from a lot of the other states coming for this. I'm going to funeral. I just worry about who will take his place now. The martyrdom has commenced, and his body has been flown from Utah to Arizona on Air Force 2. And the casket deplaned by a military entourage, and of course Shady Pants was there to lend a hand and help carry it. Usha Vance, the second lady, was there to escort the wife and children off the plane. The day the MAGAs found out that he was hit, auto shit turned on, and every Dem in the country was the culprit. Every LGBTQ person is to blame. Every trans person is a gun-toting assassin and must have their gun rights taken away. But when they found out that it was one of their own, he's a disturbed young man, that the conservative fella would want us to pray for him. Meanwhile, the war, as Steve Bannon, 3 shirts, maggoty, sleazy, whatever, the Their calling for war began with lawmakers in both state and federal houses in both and the Senates. They were screaming from the rooftops that radical leftists are spreading hate. Really? Well, there are some, I can't lie, I had a couple on my channel, but the majority of Democrats have slammed the violence, propped up the First Amendment, and said over and over that words, though hurtful and hateful, does not deserve to get hit for it. Since then, 12 HBCUs were closed across the country for bomb threats. Capitol Hill National Democratic Convention, whatever, was actually evacuated because of a bomb threat. A Secret Service agent was fired. Hundreds of teachers were fired because they tried to preach no hate and don't say things like him. They got fired for that. Sheriffs have been fired. Police officers are fired. And Democratic lawmakers have had skyrocketing threats to their lives. And it's like tenfold just in this past week from what it was, and it was pretty high before. And Congress, the Republicans in Congress still refuse to offer them security. They got it, though, in my opinion. The Republicans, I imagine, are getting death threats as well, which has to stop. It has to stop. Nobody deserves to be targeted for the ever after, for things that they've said. Nobody deserves that. But like when Democrats have had assassination attempts, and I'm going to call them assassinations because they were actually assassinated because they were Democrat and killed for their political beliefs. Melissa Hortman, her husband Mark, and their lovely Golden Gilbert were all unalived. John and his wife Yvette, can't remember his last name, starts with an H though. But anyway, neither here nor there. They too were shot nine times one, 8 times the other, and they're still recovering from their injuries. The president himself was asked on Air Force One if he was going to call Governor Walz of Minnesota and give his condolences for the murders of two senators, and he said, why would I do that? It would be just a waste of time. Their governor's a whack job. Why would I waste time talking to him? He didn't call the families or anything else, and now he's got flags at half staff till Sunday at 6, and we're thinking of laying him in state. When Paul Pelosi his house was broken into while he was asleep in the middle of the night. The man sleeps in his underwear. We all know that now. Something I didn't care to know about, but he was awoken to somebody smashing a door in the house, a glass door. The guy came in with a hammer, screaming, "Where's Nancy?" because he wanted to silence her. And I don't know, kidnap her, do stuff to her. Well, Paul tied up would have to watch, but instead Paul tried with a calmer head, managed to get 911 to listen to him and get there, but got his head beat in with a hammer that the suspect, apparently a Canadian, brought. And the likes of Don Jr. put up a pair of tighty-whities with a hammer beside it and said, "Oh, look, here's my Halloween costume." Like that was funny. Did anybody take his words down? Did anybody threaten him or anything? No, because he's another one that walks around with a big friggin' bunch of security. So, same like the president. He can say what he wants, but he's got a giant bunch of security around him. That's when you know he's caught in a lie, is how he will lash out at everybody else and try and turn the tables. But people are catching on and they don't believe that anymore. So anyway, people in Arizona, like I said, stay vigilant this week. It's going to be a tough week in Arizona, in Phoenix. So please Try and keep your comments civil. State an opinion, that's fine. And I'm not targeting anybody about any subjects. And if you want to say something. But just don't flatter yourself to think that I'm worried about it, because I don't mind constructive criticism. I don't. I really don't. And if I think it's going to hurt somebody else, I'll just remove the comment. That's all. End of conversation. Too easy. So, like I said, if you're putting stuff on my channel, please be respectful. I don't want any vile memes, cartoon thingies, whatever. Anyway, I love you all. So newcomers, love me, like me, share me. Stay tuned to my, subscribe to my channel. Stay tuned. Yeah, do that too, because I might do another video today. Hangers on. There you go. Thank you for hanging on. Boom, 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 boom. I love you all. And let's see if we can get the Vivinator there. You gonna say hi today, Vivi? Vivi, look at mommy. Hey, Viv. Oh, you sneaky little bugger. Vivi. There you go. You got your look. There you go. So anyway, I love you all. Please take care of you first so you can take care of somebody else. Like I said, it's going to be a rough week. Mwah. I love you all.